Welcome to the deep dive. We're diving into EdTech this time, looking at Allied Venture Partners and their investment memo about a company, EdLink.
They caught my eye because they're not after the typical shiny new learning app.
Right.
It's more of a forget the gold rush, let's sell the picks and shovels kind of thing.
Yeah.
Going after the infrastructure of educational technology.
Yeah, it's a fascinating approach, especially with how crowded the EdTech market is right now. I mean, even the memo mentions dozens, if not hundreds, of potential investments.
I know. Makes you wonder if we're in another EdTech bubble.
Yeah.
VC funding in EdTech tripled in 2021, reaching $20 billion globally. That's insane.
It is.
So what is Allied Venture Partners seeing in EdLink that separates it from the pack?
They're calling EdLink the AWS of education.
Okay. AWS.
Yeah, so like Amazon Web Services.
Oh, cloud computing.
Right. Exactly. But the parallel is that EdLink isn't another educational tool, it's the infrastructure. Allows all those tools to work together.
So not a better classroom, but the roads and bridges connecting all the classrooms.
Precisely. There are over 800 different learning management systems and student information systems, just within K-12, higher ed, and corporate learning. Add on thousands of edtech companies trying to sell their software.
Oh my God.
It's a logistical nightmare for everyone.
Yeah, like building a house where every brick is a different size. Good luck with that foundation.
That's where EdLink comes in, streamlining the integration between edtech companies and all those LMS and SIS systems. Instead of building individual integrations for every single school system, they plug into EdLink. Instantly access a massive chunk of their target market.
So instead of reinventing the wheel, they build the integration once with EdLink, and they're good.
Exactly. And this isn't small scale either. Allied Venture Partners highlights that EdLink's integrations cover 85% of the North American market already.
Wow.
The universal translator of the edtech world.
Okay, so a real problem solver for EdTech companies. But what about the schools? How does EdLink benefit them? We're back, and, the more we dig into EdLink, the more I'm seeing the potential here. It's like they're fundamentally changing how educational technology gets adopted, how it gets used.
That's exactly it. And Allied Venture Partners makes a really interesting comparison. A company you're probably familiar with, Zapier.
Zapier. Oh, yeah. I use that all the time. It's like the glue that holds all my web apps together.
Right.
What's the connection?
Same concept, but on a much bigger scale. Zapier, they're valued at around $4 billion, connecting different web applications, allowing them to share data, automate tasks. EdLink wants to be the Zapier of education, connect entire learning ecosystems.
So instead of connecting, like, my email to my to-do list, EdLink could connect a student's math app to their grading system, their learning plan,
Yeah.
even to their teacher's progress reports.
Exactly. Imagine a future where a student's entire learning journey, from kindergarten all the way to their career, it's all interconnected. Their progress in different subjects, their assessments, even their career aptitude tests, all accessible through one system.
Now we're talking. Think about the possibilities. Personalized learning paths,
Sure.
early identification of learning disabilities, maybe even algorithms to help predict which career fields students are best suited for. It's a bit sci-fi, but exciting.
It is exciting, but it's crucial to consider the potential downsides. Who controls all this data? How's privacy protected? What happens with data security breaches?
Right. Like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. It all comes down to the people behind the technology, the safeguards they put in place. So what does Allied Venture Partners say about the EdLink team? Are these folks up to the task?
Well, this is where their due diligence gets really interesting. They really dug deep into EdLink's co-founders. Dakota and Amanda found a potent mix of experience and, importantly, motivation. Combined, they have over 20 years of experience in software development, business growth, and most importantly, the edtech industry.
Okay, so they've got the experience, but what makes them uniquely qualified to tackle this specific challenge?
Yeah, this is key. They've been in the trenches. Before EdLink, they founded and ran Atlas Learning, an edtech company that also struggled with this integration nightmare. So when they launched EdLink, they weren't just building a product, they were solving a problem they had personally experienced.
Wow, that's a powerful motivator. It's one thing to spot a business opportunity. It's another level entirely to have lived through the problem you're trying to solve. Gives you that extra grit and determination. But even with a great team, a real problem to solve, and a potentially massive market, are there any numbers to back up this bet?
Oh, Allied Venture Partners certainly seem to think so. They cite some pretty compelling statistics. They say the edtech market is projected to grow at a 19.4% compound annual growth rate, reaching an estimated $288 billion by 2027.
Okay, huge market. But EdLink is starting in North America, right? How big of a piece of the pie are we talking about?
Not a small slice at all. North America, it's currently the largest edtech market, represents about 37% of that global projection, so that's about $37 billion in 2021. This isn't some niche play, this is a substantial chunk of a rapidly growing pie.
It's starting to feel like one of those rare situations where the hype might actually be justified. We're back.
Yeah,
And it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of any new technology, especially when it has the potential to, you know, completely change something as important as education.
absolutely. It's crucial to take a step back and consider the long game here. The real question isn't whether EdLink software works. I mean, it clearly does. The question is, can they actually become the go-to solution?
Right.
The ubiquitous platform for the entire industry.
So not just a better mousetrap, it's the mousetrap.
Exactly. Think about it. The early days of the internet, you had all these companies vying to be the dominant web browser,
Yeah.
Netscape, Mosaic, even Internet Explorer back in the day. But then Google came along with Chrome,
Right.
and well, you know the rest. EdLink wants that same level of market dominance, but in edtech.
That's a big goal. So what do they need to do? What does EdLink need to do to make that happen?
Allied Venture Partners, they say it comes down to two key factors. First, expanding their network of integrations. They've got 85% of the North American market, but they need to be global, the go-to solution everywhere.
Like building a railroad.
Mm-hmm.
The more track you lay down, the more places you can reach.
Exactly. And second, building trust. They're asking schools, ed tech companies, to trust them with incredibly sensitive data. EdLink has to be rock solid when it comes to security, privacy, reliability. One major misstep, and it could undermine their whole vision.
It's a high-stakes game for sure. But, you know, it's fascinating. This whole deep dive, it's not just about EdLink. It's about this larger trend, this infrastructure-first innovation.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what other industries are ripe for this kind of disruption?
Yeah. What other fields are struggling with too many tools, all these different technologies, but no real way to connect them all? Healthcare, manufacturing, finance. It's a question worth thinking about.
It really is. You know, that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just about, I don't know, understanding one company or industry. It's about developing a new framework for looking at the world, for spotting those hidden connections, those emerging trends.
Asking the right questions, even if the answers aren't always obvious. It's about training yourself to think differently, to see beyond the hype and find the real opportunities, the ones that often fly under the radar.
And that brings us to our final thought for you. What's your EdLink? What seemingly mundane but essential piece of infrastructure could unlock massive potential in your world, your industry, even in your own life?
Keep your eyes open, your mind curious, and you might be surprised by what you discover.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into EdTech infrastructure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep diving deep.